I know, but on the media it comes out like we're throwing, you know, feces at people. We're just here to ask for freedom. Somebody might have, but we didn't. Nobody here did it.
The mainstream media that you tolerate have been gaslighting you for a long time.
I know, it's awful. So everyone here has been peaceful. I haven't seen anyone be unpeaceful here. So please don't let that pass on. The message from here is everyone wants love. We want freedom. We just can't handle the government telling us we can't choose. We can't choose what goes in our bodies. That's not right. But just tell us when it's going to be over. Tell us when it's going to be over, okay? We want a date. We want to know when it's over. So we just want to thank you for coming. Props to you, props to you for coming.
I'm here to say that she and her cabinet should be talking to you.
Absolutely, but I have props for you to come, so thank you for coming. Pass it on, Swedish.
Kia ora.
Waiting for you.
I just want to have a bit of an interview with you.
No, I'm not doing interviews.
Are you not doing interviews?
I can't listen to people. That's my message. These parliamentarians are not listening to you, and they should be.
Oh well, there's a message. Yeah.
Otherwise they'll misrepresent what I'm doing.
Winston,
Yeah.
I
I know how they work.
suffered pericarditis and shingles after the vaccines, and I only had the vaccines because of the child trafficking through Child, Youth and Family Oranga Tamariki and the family court.
But anyway, thank you. There's a lot of. If I could just say.
I'm sorry. No, I'm more worried about an accident.
Yeah.
Hey,
Kia ora.
I'm Sue from Counterspin.
Kia ora. I was trying to just get a hold of.
Winston Peters?
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. I got a little. Oh wow, he doesn't do interviews, but at least he talks. At least he's talking, eh? That's the main thing.
He's definitely talking. All right, we'll catch up with
Derek Paul's controlling him again.
Derek
Paul is part of the IPCA. Oh, he's a part of the.
Anyway, whānau, we got a little glimpse of Winston Peters. He's not doing any interviews. Try to get a couple of questions from him, but at least he's here. Hey, at least he's here. At least he's got the kahunas to actually walk around and talk to the people. He said he's not doing interviews. I did quickly want to do an interview with him, but he said he's not doing interviews, and that's all good. He's so charming, eh? You see why people, he's like a magnet. I mean, people are following him around, and but no, it's awesome. Awesome to see a Maori politician walking around talking to the people, right? And so if other Maori politicians want to do the same, they have the same ability to do that. Just walk around, hear the stories. You know, you're hearing stories of backs injured. You're hearing stories of whānau that have buried their whānau. You're hearing stories of whānau that have lost their jobs through no jab, no job, including the police, right, including the military. Okay, so at least he's come around and he's having a kōrero with the people. And so I got a little bit of a kōrero with him, but anyway, all good. We'll just carry on. Kia ora. Oh, kia ora.
Kia ora.
Good to see Uncle Winnie here, eh? Did you talk to him?
I haven't, no.
No.
Really.
Look at the crowd. I'll turn it around so that my people that are following can see the crowd that he's. Look at that. He's like a magnet.
And it's so peaceful.
And
so
it is.
Beautiful, peaceful.
Yeah, it is. He's got his minders and his keepers there, which is all good. It's all good. I just got to protect him. I get that. He's a kaumatua, and I get that. Very charming. I get that too.
Thank you for what you're saying.
Thank you. So whānau, this is the people following Uncle Winnie. He's brilliant. Talking to people, he's brilliant. See if we can get another chat with him. This time I won't ask him for an interview. I just ask him questions.
Quite right, mate. It's been a tragedy. That's $24,000 for the talent. I got that announced yesterday. It doesn't cut anything. 30,000 dead.
So anyway, I was doing that for from 11 I started smoking dope, 11 to about 19, just into the pub,
He comes Winston.
into the pubs, drinking, smoking dope, and that's what I did. And I was going down and down into a dark hole, in a dark, deep, deep dark hole. Nobody could do anything, and I was my own opinion. Nobody could trust nobody. Didn't even trust my family. Didn't trust my school.
Okay, fine. I'm just trying to get myself into a position. Kia ora.
6 years old. So all that lady was on top of me. So anyway, so from 15 when I finished school to 21, I was just out there, drinking, smoking, and all that kind.
Are you Donna?
Yes. Promiscuous.
Watching your post.
We needed time to go.
I'm trying to follow. I'm winning.
When I was 19,
Yeah, sit in the next seat. So I'm hoping you'll
came to a country my life. I give my life to the Lord.
You've just gone around talking to everyone about why they're here. And like I've said on my life, everyone told a story and not all of them are the same story. And he's saying, why are the politicians not here?
So what he's saying?
Tell you what.
If he gets up here, we'll see what he's in for.
That is true freedom when I gave my life to Jesus.
So what's
He
one of
has
your
healed my soul.
You were talking about
He's taken all the
Mind if
hate.
I send this round?
Hate from my parents.
Yeah,
He took
okay,
all my
kia ora.
hate from my parents.
E aha tō ingoa.
Took my hate out of
Anaru, kia ora,
for my
anaru.
family. For my
I was just watching one of
everybody.
your posts the other night,
The hate out of my heart for even myself. I couldn't forgive myself.
and then it broke
I
and
always
went
thought it
to
was my fault
the
and
media
I got
overseas.
raped.
And they were talking about how
I
ridiculous,
always thought that
How the what?
all these
how ridiculous
condemnations and all
our
this
so-called leaders
it's all gone.
are.
There's no condemnation
That's good
to
that
those
even
that
though
believe in the Father. and the
Our
Lord
media,
Jesus.
mainstream media, showed
And when I
negative
gave my
light on
life to
us.
the Lord, it had to
Overseas
please
media
Him.
But I stuck to him, and he's so real. He loves every one of us. He knows every one of us. He paid a price for you. He sent his son Jesus to die.
I want to go up on the stage. But thank you, Anaru. Kia ora.
And that's what he's done. He's covered my sins. He covered my sins. He's loved me even though I was still sinning. He even loved me even though I was still sinning. So that's another freedom I want to tell you about. The freedom Jesus gives. Jesus freed me from my sin. His salvation. He's given me salvation. I've been born again by the Spirit of God, that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And I can stand here and tell you about it. 10 years ago I wouldn't be able to share this because I was so embarrassed by it. But I'm not embarrassed anymore. That's why he died. He died for my embarrassment. He died for my darkness. He died for my unforgiveness. He died for my ugliness. He died for everything. Every sin he died for. And he's cleansed me. He's cleansed me, made me whole. Thank you very much.
Welcome Rangi from Mana News Live.
Wakato mana poto taki nini, tokini kubonga, wakato te awa, he tatarawhiti, te tangata, tēnā I represent Money News Live, and I've been catching all the live streams that have been happening around here, putting myself on the front line so I can bring the truth out. And my whole idea is about the truth for both sides. For both sides. I'm not here for one side, I'm here for both sides to get the truth out there to who instigates what and who crosses the line. If it's our guys, I got you. If it's their guys, I got them. And yesterday I videoed and I saw a lot of instigators amongst our guys that were holding the fort. Now, we lost that battle down here yesterday because our guys went beyond the bollards. They went out into the streets and they went towards the cops. There was about 5 men in there. They were going in at certain things, they were communicating with each other, and they each going at times, and I walked in, the guy was stabbing at the piece of the flagpole. I pushed them off, his mate come from the side, and I beat them off with a palm. When I got them all on my live feed, I screenshot their phone faces, and I passed on security. But what I want you to know is that while we're out there getting that shot so people here can remain safe and watch those live feeds, see what's going on at the very front line, so people that are live here can see what's going on. And we get threatened. I've been threatened about 2 dozen times. I've been stepped out and I've been called undercover. So I've been called everything and told that invite him to the mic. Yeah. Do you want to invite him to the mic? Yeah, invite him to the mic. Yeah. So just do it now. Yeah. So if you see us out there, please show us a bit of respect, because it's very disheartening out there when you've got everything's going haywire around you. It's going real fast. There's aggression, there's frustration.
1 second, brother. One quick interruption. Yeah. One interruption. Yeah.
Should I find out? Up a little bit. Oh. Yeah, that's better. So we can see Winston walking down the path there, sir, and we would love to invite you to korero.
We would love to invite you to Kōrero, Winston, if you'd like to turn around and come back and be the first person to front up to the people. Can you hear me down there? Winston, come speak with us. Come Kōrero, please. Oh, he doesn't want to. Okay, well we offered, maybe another day. Sorry for interrupting you.
So all I say is, could you give us a bit of respect out there? Tolerate us, please don't threaten us, because we're trying to get the story.
Uncle Winnie's not going to speak, but he's going around to speak to the people. Okay.
I've walked around the whole area. I've done personal interviews with people around here, getting their stories before.
Now, we've heard the Prime Minister label the behaviour of protesters and attacks on police in Wellington as disgraceful. They've flung feces, one has driven a car into a crowd and verbally abused officers. New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters toured the camp and he joins us now. Welcome to the show this morning. You would have just heard the police commissioner say that if the peaceful protesters leave, they believe the unlawful behaviour will then stop. Could your visit have encouraged the protesters to stay?
I hope to encourage the protesters to demand that they be heard. It's astonishing that in their 16th day, no one has opened a dialogue from Parliament, from any political party, hasn't been to see them, and that is utterly unprecedented.
So you haven't asked them to leave?
41 years ago, there was a 42-day protest there, so that's not unprecedented. The reality is that if the Prime Minister and her cabinet were prepared to talk to them, I would sure that this could de-escalate real fast. But if it doesn't, I fear there's going to be further problems and violence.
In terms of your timing for visiting and in terms of the violence you mentioned, they've been there for 15 days. You visit the day after feces have been thrown at police and some kind of substance thrown, police officers being treated in hospital. Why visit at that time?
Well, I don't get the point of your question.
Well, doesn't it send a message that you're condoning the behaviour of the protesters there if you're meeting them after that has happened?
Are you trying to say that a few extremist actions against the massive majority who are law-abiding and peaceful protesters, and for some of them who've lost 30 years of their career, their jobs and everything, is to be the most prominent issue? You'll always get the odd nutcase, but the reality is, from what I saw, the people that are being gaslit by the media and, dare I say, politicians, are simply not that crowd.
A number of the protesters have actually left because they don't condone the behaviour that has gone on in recent days. So a number of the people that you're perhaps referring to have actually left.
Well, with respect, you're just making it up as you go along. That's not the circumstance. If you go down and have a look today, there'll be the same that was there yesterday, and it's actually building. I'm seeing people getting off the airline. I'm astonished to hear them, see who they are and what their backgrounds are. But the reality is that if they'd have been spoken to, if they'd have been listened to, if there'd been some dialogue, then this will not be where it is today.
The Prime Minister
and it's preposterous.
Has told...
You will not find any part in our country's history where the politicians en masse have signed a pact not to talk to protesters.
Well, they have put out a cross-party agreement saying that they would talk to them if the unlawful behaviour was to stop. But the Prime Minister has accused Christopher Luxon of dancing dangerously close to sympathy with the protesters. Do you sympathise with them?
Well, look, if you want to have an interview with me about yesterday's experience, and it was very enlightening, and people were pleased that I did turn up and showed my face and prepared to listen and hear what they had to say, not spend all my time with the media trying to get some publicity, but to talk to them about the true things that are going on and the terrible tragedies that have happened to their lives, and it's writ large right across this country if you care to listen. That's what I'm interested in talking about. Not some other statement between politicians, both of whom I can't agree how to treat their people properly. After all, these people might be protesters, but like you and like the rest of New Zealand, they are the masters of the politicians, not the servants. And we need to get that connection right.
You didn't wear a mask there yesterday. Can you just explain your reasoning behind that?
Well, you know full well that the masks that are being offered these days, unless they're highly surgical masks of a certain scientific and medical content, are a waste of time. But we're living with so many shibboleths and statements today that nobody knows what's going on. Every time you announce on your program, for example, that 2,200 or 2,300 people have just got COVID yesterday, you're repeating a lie, because it's 3 or 4 times that. And it's possibly at the moment we've got 45,000 COVID cases in this country, over 100 in hospital, not much more than 100, and 1 in ICU.
If I can come back to the question about the mask though, Mr. Peters, you in August 2020 were one of the politicians calling for mandatory use of masks, and in fact when it was brought in said that you'd been calling for that from day one. So have you changed your stance on that?
No, I've not changed my mind on the quality of masks, and that should be obvious if you as a journalist were following it. If you use the wrong mask, it's next to useless. You've got to use the right one.
And you're feeling
and all specialists are saying that, and so why aren't they available for people?
You're feeling on the actions of those who are perhaps being more abusive physically among the protesters. There was a group around you who were escorting, that were manhandling journalists there, including our own political editor Jenna Lynch, who is heavily pregnant. Do you condone that behaviour?
You got me. Excuse me. You were told at the start that I'm here to listen to the protesters, not you. Not a bunch that have been brought out by a 64
So manhandling is okay in that instance?
Or who have been gaslighting and virtue signalling and doing all sorts of things to mislead the public. And the fact of the matter is, you all knew, well before you even asked the first question, that I'd asked to speak to the people and that you people could wait to a later time. You're not the centre of this issue, and I wish you would start acting like the Fourth Estate and not like a bunch of fifth columnists.